Hey guys, so my name is Daniel Herrera. My presentation is going to be on the global ethics of reverse engineering software products. Then we're going to dive into detail with three subsections. In those three subsections, we're going to go over the global impacts and ethical perspectives. After that, we're going to do the global policy landscape, and then roles and responsibilities of professionals within basically software related stuff, then software related projects and businesses and whatnot. So, with that being said, is basically global impacts and ethical perspectives, the practice of reverse engineering software, which involves disassembling and examining a program's constituent parts to understand its architecture. Basically, you go in and out, you learn the intricate details, in every single part of a plan in order to truly understand what's being done, what's the purpose of it, to then be able to redesign it, to be able to better enhance it for customers, for whoever's looking at basically what's being designed. And then you can also use the data from whatever company as well. So when you are basically reverse engineering the software, it'll have a worldwide consequence. You can look at it as a product like Apple. Somebody can reverse engineer Apple's products to be able to try to create a better phone, a better iPhone, something similar, but that's something still original and its own thing. It's almost like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. I like to look at it like that. With that being said, is reverse engineering software, the process of deconstructing and studying a program's components to understand its architecture and extract design information, has profound global ramifications. And on the contrary, deontological ethics with rigorous adherence to rules would consider unlicensed reverse engineering a violation of property rights, as well as legal contracts to regulate the institution of ownership. With that being said, is there's always rules and regulations that have to be followed in order to make sure basically that ideas are original, no one's stealing anything from anyone, and there's a true understanding of what's being done, ethically speaking, around the world. And so with that being said, we're going to go into more detail as we go through this PowerPoint of basically reverse engineering and whether it's ethical or not to reverse engineer software products. So to continue on that same topic, the proponents view these means of surveillance as imperative for what they consider to be law enforcing and anti-terror measures in the digital age, and the notion of reverse engineering, however, is a very slippery slope and therefore may easily lead to compromising technologies that billions of people have relied on globally. With that being said, reverse engineering is one of those things that can be deemed as whether it be invading privacy or anything of that sort. It depends on how you view it ethically speaking. Are you able to give up all of your basically your privacy for what can be viewed as surveillance, to be able to to tell what's going on with people, and if you're okay with that, and if not, then once you reverse engineer these products, you can compromise. Like in the last point, you can compromise people's security for privacy and their information. It can be viewed as not safe because with that information being able to be viewed, it can be used in other things as well, and they can start using your information. So it's a very slippery slope. It's hard to navigate because we're still early on in the age of what we are, which is the digital age technology era. So for our next point, now we're going to talk about the global policy landscape. The legality and ethical stances around reverse engineering vary substantially across nations and regions, reflecting differing cultural values and priorities. In the United States, only under very special conditions is reverse engineering legitimate, provided that it serves some particular purpose. On the contrary, the EU allows such products, technically specifications, to be reverse engineered through legal channels to allow interoperability between applications in its software directive. With that being said, is depending on where you're at around the world, I know for sure in the US we have stricter rules, or we have freer we are freer when it comes to being able to look up what we want online, being able to do research on whatever it is that we want. We are not being overanalyzed or looked at in comparison to some other countries where an example could be in North Korea, where they have no privacy in anything that they have. They know everything that's going in and everything that's going out online. They made sure that their systems have been perfect for what they need to do. Basically, they've reverse engineered many different applications to create the technology that they have in their economy, the websites, the everything that they have there, have their own version of YouTube and whatnot, which only adds to how each country always differs in their laws and how they view technology. To continue with our last points, a lot of developing countries turn out to have built no workable intellectual property laws and no working mechanisms for enforcing software reverse engineering. Business-wise, most policies also differ. For instance, Apple engages in deep software licenses, exaggerated patents, and security lock-in mechanisms to keep away from anyone wishing to penetrate their products. Basically, there's another standpoint on this where you not only have the consumer side or you also have the business side of things, and then you also have the nation side of things. Trying to reverse engineer on products such as Apple's, it's a very thin line to walk because they put so much time and effort into their technology that it can be viewed as, hey, you're trying to steal our idea. And of course, all these companies basically want to be the monopoly and the go-to for everything that they do. And now we're getting into our final slide, the roles and responsibilities of professionals. So working as the ambassadors of ethical technology development and deliverables and sustaining innovations as its trained professionals, computing professionals are highly privileged to foresee and navigate the reverse engineering quandary. Then, by respecting standards and codes of conduct like ACMs, which uphold principles such as honoring intellectual property rights, maintaining privacy and civil liberties, and providing browsing safeguards, public trust will be fostered. For our third to final point, because there's two more on the next one, it says that we are computing professionals. Computing professionals are the most important people who change the direction and purpose of technology use. With that being said, is through the code of conduct like the ACM, you're able to uphold the principles and honoring intellectual property rights. Basically, you're able to have your own privacy without having to worry about somebody being inside of your daily life and going through your information and not even trying to give you any sort of type of privacy. No, they're going in and making sure that you aren't doing something bad, or it's up to them to decide what they're trying to do exactly. And so basically, with computing professionals who study reverse engineering and whatnot, these people change the direction and the purpose of technology use because they're able to change what's going to happen later on in life with what's going on with specifically the technology that's being used. So through them, they can figure out, okay, how something is done, how something works. And then after that, they can change up the design or change in the code to be able to decide, okay, this is a better outcome for people and their property rights. So for our last slide, we're going to talk about we're going to finish up with our last subtopic, which was the roles and responsibilities of professionals. And so on one hand, computing professionals have a responsibility to comply with legal requirements and directives from their employers or government authorities, even when those directives involve reverse engineering software for purposes such as national security or law enforcement investigations. And finally, in conclusion, the reverse engineering of software products touches up on a multilateral group of global issues such fields can arise out of the need for protection of intellectual property, the security of data, the recognition of the importance of software development, technological innovation, and technology from social benefits. With that being said, thank you so much for my presentation, for hearing me out, and I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you.